Step 1, make a sphere. Step 2, shape head. Step 3, add eyes, nose, lips, and ears. Step 4, add small details, and you're finished with the sculpt. Congratulations. Step 4, add small details, and you're finished with the sculpt. Congratulations. 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 Hello and welcome back. Today we're having a special video where I'm gonna help my followers, my subscribers, to sculpt their faces. So we had an event in the last video. I think there was 2 videos ago where I asked you to send me a head and from the head sculpting tutorial, and I'm gonna go over it and fix some problems, mistakes I think you may have. So let's not wait for anything and let's go. I'm gonna first start with this head. So I think in general it has pretty nice shapes. There are a few problems. Just let's go into sculpting mode. Let me add my annotations. And let's draw over, because I saw a lot of people liking draw overs. So yes, I did told that we need a big head. Probably have, and then annotations turn off, yes. Let me start from new, red color. So I did say to draw a big head, but the head itself might be a bit too big. So I'm gonna go over that, as well as the head itself. It looks pretty nice from the front, but it has too large of the curve. They're gonna make a flatten on the top, and as well as this one is too much pushed in. If we draw that bow, you see that we will have to push this in, as well as we not having that nice flow, and we don't have 2 lines which separate the neck. On a front view, let's see on the top view definitely has a nice way of going. So let's not wait for anything and let's go and fix it. So I'm gonna start with making the head a bit smaller. Fixing on that neck. Probably added too big of the gap. By the way, if you're having a male neck, it can even be a thicker. But as I like the lines to flow a bit more freely, I'm gonna go over and fix it. I'm gonna just turn on statistics to see how much polys we're working with. Now as well on the side, such a slim, oh, we don't have mirror on. If you mess up and you worked, you can press symmetrize and it will symmetrize the model. Now these kind of slim necks are good for anime characters, but for stylized and semi-realistic characters or even realistic characters, it's not gonna be working. So we have to add a bit more thickness to it. Now, as I talked about pushing it in front, the jaw and the lips. Now, another thing is your nose looks very flat to the face. Let me draw the line with a new color. Your nose looks very flat to the face and the face itself becomes very flat. So I'm just gonna push this a bit over. It's not gonna make a nose look bigger. And as well as I thought the head is too flat. Maybe a bit too small on the higher side. Okay, now another thing is the eye position, and the eye position of the Asian characters usually has this distance is smaller, but on Eastern people the eyes are a bit deeper inside the head, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna push the eyes a bit deeper inside. Go back in sculpting mode. Another thing, the flow of the jaw looks very anime-ish. Just let me do a little bit more pushover tweaks. What I'm gonna do is not use a grab tools for them, but use clay strips and just make the jaw a bit more prominent by drawing over it. Smooth it up. And as well, I see that the model itself, the neck, is missing some parts. I probably didn't explain it too well in my head tutorial about the neck. Always can miss some things. Let me add a new one. So the neck usually flows and have some space in between, forming this weird shape. Okay, I have the annotation on cursor, not on surface, sorry. So we're gonna be fixing that. I'm gonna use a draw sharp and just have that. That's how people can get a double neck, or just have that. If you tap with your hand under your chin, you feel that there's a place and the neck is not just straight line to your chin. Another thing is, don't forget that you have a trachea, the throat. That this is what is in the front. It's not a muscle or anything. And let's draw those neck muscles. So neck muscles come from under the ear and go into the front. I'm gonna smooth it. Now this is what happens. Your trachea is in there, and your muscles overlap and go over. So just so that shape appears. I don't want to spend too much time on every head, so I'm gonna give close to the 15 minutes mark for every head. Now the ear position could be pushed back. I was forming the jaw, but it didn't form too well, so I'm gonna reform it. We have to have that separation between jaw and a neck. Let me use a draw sharp. I'm actually gonna go and save the file first before using voxel remesher. Okay, and I'm gonna voxel remesh by Ctrl R. I can see that the screencast keys are not casting. Just a second, and okay. Now I'm gonna draw a jaw a bit to clear that anime style. Now if I draw the jaw, you see that it becomes too realistic, so I just make the head a bit thinner, especially for females. And as well as having a very sharp sharp-edged chin usually looks very weird if you have not anime stylish head. So we're gonna add that chin. As well as muscles going from the lip to the side. Move them up, go into side view. A lot of the lips have quite a big separation between chin and the lips. So I'm gonna do that with the crease brush. Maybe let me show you what brushes I'm using. And let's push the eye back into the front where it should be. Now you should always go over and see what kind of eye shapes people usually have. And people will never have an oval shaped eyelids for the eyes. Just keep that in mind. Even in anime, eye shapes are never spherical. They can use a spherical eye shape for a comedian output, but it will never be like that for just in general. Now the side of the skull actually is a bit flatter on the front. Same goes for this side. And I see that we're lacking cheeks. We don't have any cheeks in here, if you can see. So I'm gonna over with the clay and brush over it, adding those cheeks and even the side muscle here. Now as well, from this cheek there's a line going straight on to the ear, and the ear lobe should be parallel to that straight line. And I'm just filling this place to make face more smooth. Okay. Now, definitely ears are very hard to control, as well as the head in the back when I symmetrized became way too flat. Let's make it a bit more spherical. And we can work on the ears. So a lot of people think that the ears are very close to the head, and it's actually a very big lie and not true. It's just that we see perspectively and not orthographically. So if I press 5, you can see that the ears are hidden completely. It looks like the human without ears. And usually we can't see everyone's ear, even if they have a long hair. Just let me inflate the side, because the ear seems non-existent on the side. I'm gonna quickly mask this around the ear. I'm just trying to rush it over because I want to give enough time for everyone. And I'm gonna draw out the ear. Now you may think what shape I'm looking for, and it's usually just a nice nice simple oval shape. Okay, have it off. Nice oval shape, not having those weird zigzags in there. Same goes for the side. Usually something straight, nice. Let me clear the mask, hide the annotations. Okay, now the ear might look weird because it's hanging off like that. Always have to be the separation in between the head and the ear. Okay. So the ear looks weird because you don't have any thickness. Let me go into advanced and use front face only so I don't make any weird artifacts. Let me remesh it again because we worked a lot on it. Still getting... Let's use draw. Let me go back so you can see. Let's use draw so I can draw faster. Oh, I pressed S, which is for scale, and it's not good. Okay. Now we need as well separation between the ear sides and behind the ear. This one should be a bit pushed back. And it didn't form the ear itself. So this part of the ear curves in and has those separations. Can have a bit more place for those things. All right, and here. So it might look weird now, but if we go to the orthographic side, you can see that they're working way more better. Right now. Okay. Okay, see that I probably will have to spend 20 minutes on each head. Now, I can definitely fix everything, but if we go to the side view, we can see that the face drops like a triangle. And we have this triangular shape in here. Let me just maybe... Let me hide so I can actually show you this triangle. Okay, so we have this triangle shape, and I never seen any head have that. So let me just show you what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be curving. So I did add the cheeks, but they're still non-existent. So let's go a bit more aggressive over it and use the grab brush. And if we don't want to mess up everything else, we can mask the lips and nose. Now I generally don't tell you people to use a grab brush, but if you know your stuff pretty well, you can go over it with the grab brush and add the volume quickly. I would recommend still using clay strips and slowly working on it, but just in case of I need to go over quite a few models, I'm gonna do it with the grab brush. Now you can see that it looks way smoother and nicer. I can still add a bit more to chin. Okay. That one, the nose are usually not that big on a females, and the nose doesn't go this way. We have, like, from a drawing perspective to draw them this way, but actually, okay, can't control Z the annotations, but actually how it should be like this, a nice smooth shape. And let's go over with clay strips and do that. Make a nice shape. And the nose usually don't curves out this way. Usually it has a bit inner curve and can bump at the tip of the nose, as well as having a very large inner piece of the nose. We're just gonna go over it and make it a bit smaller. Use a draw brush to draw inside. And then with the crease brush, we can crease the sides. Let me hide that. I'm gonna drag a bit this down and the side a bit more up. Looks a bit more natural. Now the nose won't have such a big separation from the face. I'm gonna draw that in. And I think that in general, you can definitely go over and fix a lot about the eyes. Try to have that eyelid, as well as have the corner of the eye sharpen the side, and make the separation between top and bottom. And here you go. Now, okay, just the last few minutes on this head, and let's go over another head. I would use the script and make this a bit more flat as well from the bottom. This looks a bit not wrapping around teeth. It looks like they have mine on their own, as well as the muscle from here doesn't finish at this place. It goes, extends over, then wraps around. Now let's smooth that out. Okay, so I can't go over much more, but you should get the general idea what you're missing the most. So let's finish with this head and go over another head. So I'm gonna go over this head for now. And the third thing that I noticed is that on the side view, the head looks tilted. So I don't know if you rotated the head intentionally, but I'm gonna rotate it this way and it looks a bit better. Let me hide everything except the eyes and the head. So I know we all love rushing into the details, but we should fix our main shapes. So if you can see, it's a very big difference between front and a back, and it's not okay to have this much of the difference. Let me just symmetrize if something is wrong. Let me save the file and let's go over it. Okay, how much vertices do we have? And why my grab tool is not working? So I definitely think the front is too slim and the back is too thick, as well as the head is too big. So let's go over it. Get over the reference and have it the reference in the background and just follow the person. You can definitely find the hairless references for females. Oh, I guess I need to add more resolution to my voxel remesh. Okay. Now I don't recommend having more than 200,000 or it's gonna be very hard for you to control. Again, the neck, we don't have that shape which I draw on the last. Another thing, very sharp corner. Heads don't have any sharp corners, especially females. Everything is flowy and nice. So I'm gonna clear that. Clear as well this thing. I think this is a muscle you wanted to have, and that muscle just does not exist on the human heads. Let me actually change my matte cap. So having more matte caps and changing between them can show you some things you didn't see before. So as you can see, a lot of things are already working just by fixing the main shapes. Now, the face on the last one looked too flat, and just this bridge of the nose is going way too deep. Let me draw an annotation for you, and let's add a new one, pink. So drawing this, you can touch your head and see that you won't fit your whole finger in there. Okay, it's just small. For females especially, it will never go this deep. It will, I usually even like to have them like have a small going and go, but let's see how this looks like a bulge on a head, which is not okay. We can do two things. I'm gonna use the script and make the head a bit more flat. Then I'm gonna go over and fix the nose bridge. Okay. Maybe fix the head shape a bit more. And let me make this transition a bit more smoother. Now, we can do a lot of different shapes for the nose and this bridge. I usually for the girls like to have it smoother, more bubbly. Don't have that tip protruding so roughly. Okay, just have this free flow and not pam 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 bim boom boom bim boom, you know. It's as well as having that nose shape as we had in the last one. It definitely looks nice. So what you got is the side, but you have this butterfly wing shape, and I never really see that happening in real life. I will have this half moon smooth shape. And on the side, it seems like the air only going to the 90 degree from the head on the x-axis, which is not how it should go. Let me mask side, use the mask brush and have this. Now I'm gonna use grab tool and shape the air on the side, as well as inflate because it's way too thin. Let me clear the mask. And another thing we have is a bulge in this place, and the head itself should be pretty spherical. It's not that drastic, but you should get what I mean. It should be more spherical, as well as there's no separation between ear and the head. I'm gonna just flatten with the scrape tool. So we having a lot of this surface imperfections, bubble things, and the scrape tool works like magic for those. Just keep that in mind. You can scrape and smooth. Maybe we added a bit too much. And as well as you made the shapes very rough, and you probably looks like you used the crease with the control to make this such a sharp transition switch. I wouldn't agree with. I would use clay strip and smooth everything out. Okay, so it looks way more feminine. Don't forget the muscles. That's why learning all the things and muscles is very important, but knowing them is not the final work. You still have to understand how they work and the shapes. And as well, the jaw is not wiggly. So I'm gonna make it a bit nicer shape. Not this rough, not sharp edge. And put true lips a bit in front. Maybe let me go a bit more aggressive over it. Now, a big nice for having that thickness to the eyelid, but it's way too big. And as well, I feel like you can probably have a bit more distance between eyes. Let me use a mirror modifier for you. Okay. And it feels like you lost your eyelid somewhere here. So let me add it for you. Then you can add that triangle in a corner. Don't forget the separation, the top over the bottom, as well as I told that the lid, the right side of the lid will never be lower than the left side. So always have this a bit more higher than this one. They can be on the same height as well, but usually I like this one a bit higher. Now I see there's too much mesh on here. Let me smooth, scrape and smooth, as well as maybe a bit grab tool, as well to sharp edge on the alley top. Let me get a quick drink. Okay, so I'm gonna add a bit more on the top lid and smooth this out. Now I don't know if it's intentionally, but a very small lips. And I'm gonna use draw sharp and just make it a bit, the cut a bit deeper, as well as this. You can see better the difference between top and bottom. And usually what I see is that the bottom lips are bigger or same size as the top lip. But even if they're bigger, it doesn't mean they're more at forward than top lip. I'm gonna mask the top one and drag it a bit back. Now remember that the chin is on your jaw. So if you have your jawline and your jawline disappears and the chin appears, it looks weird. What I would do is have a chin on the jaw, and if it looks like it's too much, you will have to drag your old jaw more up. As well as those muscles of the side are not there, the chin, I mean the cheeks and everything feels like many people missed the last episodes, or maybe the last episodes are a bit hard to follow. So I'm just filling the muscles, the cheek and the jawline, and adding a bit in between and smoothing. I'm gonna drag a bit down. Now same with the nose. I'm gonna make it smoother. Add a crease brush in between, because crease works fantastic for this. And as you can see, this part is very sharp, so I would use an inflate brush. Inflate the side. You can even take a clay strip and draw on the side. Having those big waving nostrils, I see people like them, as well as having this inner from the nose. Let me remesh again. Okay, let's see where we at if I unhide everything. Okay. And we have a few more minutes on this head. Okay, where were the eyes? Help. Here. And you can see that the head itself looks much better. We still have a bit too much here because we have this weird bubble on the back. So it didn't fix too well. As well as definitely check the ear sculpting tutorial which I did on the head and the eyelids, and on the advanced series I definitely explain much more on how to fix everything, but in general I can see that you're having problems with the shape of the head, so for now try to get that right, and when you have the shape everything will look better even if it's not totally perfectly done. So just keep that in mind, and good luck on another sculpt, and just keep practicing. And your sculpts will be looking great in no time. Okay, let's go over the neck quickly, because we still have 4 more minutes. So again, the separation between your trachea, where your breathing is, and your swallowing of the food, and the muscle from the ear to your neck, to your clavicle bone. And don't forget your clavicle bones if you're drawing a bit of the torso, because it helps a lot. Okay. Have this thickness there, the neck, as well as the neck might be too slim. So I think everything in general is pretty good now. The only I would need to fix lips and ears a bit, but if we go to perspective and add everything back, you can see that it looks way more natural. Okay, so let's go over the last head now. And let's see. So the last one is male. Perfect. We had 2 females and a male now. What I'm gonna do on the last tutorial, what I'm gonna do on the next tutorial is probably gonna be a male head sculpt, but I'm not sure that it's gonna be the next male sculpt. I just know that I'm going to be doing it pretty soon. So the third thing I see is that very nice sculpt. Oh, symmetry is off. Let me see if I can symmetrize. How much? Oh, not a lot of vertices as well. Let me symmetrize if there's some imperfections. Okay, very nice sculpt on the first thing. And this can definitely be happening. Let's see if I see big problems. So maybe the biggest problem is I would add a bit more skull and make the separation between the skull and neck a bit less because it's a male, as well as I might be seeing that the neck, the neck muscle is overflowing. It should go a bit higher. So maybe let's start with the neck then. I'm gonna just add a new muscle here, because I don't really think that we're gonna make it much worse if we only adding mesh. I'm gonna use draw sharp and add this trachea. Now that's the thing, is when you have not a lot of polys, the smoothing brush will be very strong. I would probably add a bit more to the head because it looks too small, as well as the top of the head looks a bit short. A very nice sculpt, especially with low poly. Probably for the nose I would make it smoother, as I told, even on the males. Looks a bit more natural now, and as well as not having that separation from the nose and the face itself. Okay. Now we can give even a bit more place and add that triangle. Let's see how big are the eyes. Okay, so the eyes are definitely not too big. Yeah, I don't see problem with them. Now what I can see you missed is the side of the skull where the eye sockets are. So I'm just gonna add a bit more mesh there. And again, that flatness to the side of the head. I'm just gonna scrape the sides. Oh. Okay. Theirs can be this way as well, but I like to have them a bit more moon shape like, banana shape like. As well as there's no separation between air and the side. At this point, 50,000 would definitely not be enough, at least for me. I would have more. Just now making the separation between the ears and the head itself a bit smaller. Have this one a bit closer and a bit higher. Now it looks like he's squinting his lips, probably because of the muscles. Not having any in here. Okay, let me just add vertices. I'm first gonna save the file just in case. Remesh it. Now if you don't like this this view where you can see all those faces, you can press right click and shade smooth. Let's go back to the sculpting mode. You can only shade smooth in the object mode. Now let's use the crease brush and crease in the distance. So the head shapes, we didn't fix too much about them, which is nice. We only fix a few things. So the head itself is pretty good. The only thing is that I might be missing is how flat the face is, and the smaller detail itself, the understanding of the muscle, but in general everything looks very nice. Definitely wouldn't say this is a complete beginner sculpt. We can have this a bit using crease with the control and have this sharper place where the Adam's apple would be. Maybe I would make the side of the jaw a bit more prominent, especially for the guys. As you know, they need those strong jaws. Just add a bit more mesh in here. I actually didn't see the quarter view. The quarter view looks pretty good, but this wobbling of the skull actually starting to look a bit weird. So let's try to make it a bit straighter line and just move. Let's add a bit more to the sides. As well as you can see, of having that neck going down gives the impression of double chin, even if it's not happening too much. So I would drag the chin a bit down and have this one a bit flatter. The scrape, and at the edge of the neck I would drag it just a little bit upwards. Okay, now the neck, pretty nice. I can maybe make it a bit thicker, because necks are usually pretty close to the same thickness at the head of the male. And add a bit more muscles into the lips. Now if you want to make a face more serious, you can add more muscles in here. And the separation between this side and the cheek. What crease brush creates is very close lips, so I like to draw sharp and maybe then brush of creaseness, and here you go. Small tweaks. I can't really say too many problems about this sculpt. It's just that you did it great and stopped. You can always work on a smaller detail, make the head a bit better just by tweaking and looking at those muscles, how they should go, and a few shapes itself, but everything is very nice sculpt. Okay, so let's see how we done. So this is the first sculpt progress. We changed quite a lot, so that's how it looks like. And I tried to not change too much about lips, nose and eyes, but we did few changes. Now let's go to a second sculpt. And this is what we got. So we just made a lot smoother, changed the head itself. See how many changes. We made it smaller, made the neck look a bit more natural. And yeah, it didn't go too deeply, but this is definitely good for starting to learn. And the finished head, I didn't change too much. Changed mostly the neck, a bit of the shapes, the ears, and yeah, left everything, a bit nose maybe, but left everything pretty unchanged. And this is how everything looks. Let me move this a bit aside. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching this extremely long video. I hope you learned something, and see you next time.